England lead by 87 with just 5 second innings wickets remaining. What an interesting session we have ahead of us. I'm Knuckle Pandey. I'll be taking you through ball by ball for the first half an hour of this session. I'm joined to my left by Warren Muggleton, who'll be reading your tweets.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I can read a couple if you like.
Yeah,
now.
please do.
Yeah,
and Bear will be joining us once he's sorted our video stream, which appears to be wilting in the heat.
Absolutely. We were talking about Archer actually earlier before the break, saying that Archer had a side strain, that dancing activity versus prescribed recovery for that. We're not sure what's going on there. And also about Morgan as well. Huge contribution from Morgan to English cricket and the end of a 4-year campaign. I think he deserves a break. But he said there's a matter of deciding his future for the next 4 or 2 years. Also said he wouldn't bother saying if he wasn't captain.
I can understand that to some extent. It's important, I think, that whoever takes over from Morgan, whenever that happens, does so, and with the team as his team, very much. We will have the hero of the first innings opening up for Ireland with the ball. It is this man, the man who, with a ball in hand, we call the Lambeth Larwood.
It's Tim Murtagh. He bowls it fast. It's Tim Murtagh. And finally he gets to play a test at last. He
handily pulled out of the attempted first delivery to give us time to do that, but he's in now. First ball of the evening session is outside off stump from the Lambeth Larwood. Tim Murtagh is outside off stump and played by the England Test captain into the offside for no run. The Bear is now in the jingle chair, and we'll give a jingle for England's Test captain, who just blocked that into the offside.
His voice is high-pitched and ginger hair like a picked, but massive runs he has hit, so there's that. Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root, actually.
Joe Root on 12, bowling, facing up rather to Tim Murtagh, who's in. Root takes us a hop down the track and then plays this from outside off stump up to mid on. There is no run, no real movement as yet for Murtagh in this second session. Beck, can you just take over a little bit while I go and get the Facebook live stream up so that Warren can read the comments?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, route 12, Ali 7. The lead is 87 now, at 209 for 5. I'm going to be reasonably happy. I reckon wickets that were wasted.
I think so, yeah, I'd agree. So there might be a few beads of sweat on the brow, but maybe if a good evening session might cast some of those away.
Well, exactly. There's probably a 30 odd over to go, I thought. Yeah. That's left alone outside the off stump by route to hit the keeper, and there's no run. And Ireland, imagine the Ireland bowlers will start to feel it in this series, in this session. I don't know what's going on here. Gary Wilson's taking his gloves off and he's pointing to someone on the boundary. And they're pointing up to.
The helmet.
He's asking for a helmet.
Quite good piece of kit you need, I think, on the back of the wicket.
Well, it looks like Gary Wilson is going to stand up.
Yeah, I've been wondering when this would happen. I think it's a good idea.
Here we go.
That was rugby passed off the balcony down to the 12th man. Ireland trying not to waste any time.
That could be an Ireland Olympic shot put claim, I think, in that one.
It's like a scrum half. Tim Murtagh is going to have Gary Wilson standing up to the stump, so I think it's a good move with Joe Root coming down the track to Murtagh. Yeah, and this means that Root has to stay in his crease, increases the chance perhaps of Root just playing from the crease and getting an edge through to Wilson or to the waiting slip cordon. And Murtagh settles at the end of his run. Just the 2 slips in place, Sterling at first, Balboni at second. This one comes in a little bit to Joe Root, swinging down the hill. This is punched by Root up to mid on. There is no run.
Yeah, interesting tweet here from Lee on Owen Morgan. His opinion: Morgan should retire after a successful World Cup campaign in his brain-dead PR blunders and concentrate on being the ECV's hype man.
Brain-dead PR blunders?
I know, yeah.
What do you speak of here?
He needs some more explanation on that one, I think. Keep sending those tweets in.
As Murtagh's in outside off stump and left alone by Root. A slightly risky thing with Murtagh bowling from the pavilion end and swinging it or seaming it down the hill, but that was left alone comfortably enough through to Wilson. There is no run.
Who does Gary Wilson keep for?
Gary Wilson did play for Surrey and then for Derbyshire for a long time, but is now back in Ireland.
Okay.
But
He's with Northern Knights.
he is. He's from Northern Ireland, from Belfast, I think. As Mercer's in, bowling the last ball of the first over after tea on day 2. This is outside off stump, and Root plays his trademark stroke through the vacant third man region, down to the boundary there, and comes through. It rolls away for 4.
It's me, says she. It's me, says she.
Settles in front of the rope on the rope rather, in front of the Compton stand, and England are underway after tea. They are 213 for 5, leading now by 91.
They're looking quite comfy straight up after tea, I reckon. As I said, the bowlers are getting tired, and I think England will want to press on in this session. Although they won't do it too. They can't afford to go too hard at it. It's not like they're 300 ahead and they can just start putting their foot on the accelerator.
No, I imagine we'll get one more spell of Mercer, I think, and then they'll save him for the new ball. We haven't got to a second new ball at any point in this test so far. It's the big tall man coming in from the nursery end, partnering Mercer after tea. Mercer in round the wicket to Moeen Ali, which I think is going to be a profitable line of attack to Moeen, with his tendency to get out to short ball. There is the short leg in place and the 2 men back on the hook. Moeen plays this one nicely enough into the offside. There is no run. Stuart Thompson's doing some warming up down at long leg, just in front of the pavilion.
Is that the wave? Is that one? Mexican wave, solo Mexican wave, I think that is.
A little bit of warming up, making sure that his captain sees him. Porterfield, the skipper, is at sort of wide-ish mid-on as Rankin is in round the wicket to back of a length. No real pace, and it's easy enough for Moeen to work this down to Thompson at long leg and come through for a single. Rankin in both of his all of his sort of first overs of spells today has looked like it's taking him a long time to get those limbs moving.
Yeah, he's certainly not as fluid as he used to be, is he? I mean, his pace is a lot down. I mean, when he was picked for England, he was supposedly one of the fastest bowlers from a height and bowling at the top 80s.
Yeah, although when he was picked for England, he was injured and shouldn't have been playing.
Well, exactly, there was
as
that,
he said the
course.
other day. He said, in another situation, I probably wouldn't have played, but you can't really turn down a first Test cap. But I think he was badly treated by England in his time. He's in now to the right-handed Joe Root. That's fired down the leg side. Gary Wilson skips across to his left 2 field. Has been kept busy down the leg side, Gary Wilson, throughout the Test match. There is no run.
He looks like he can hardly get to the crease.
Yeah, but a little bit. He seems to be slowing down at the crease.
Yeah,
that said, he did get a wicket in his the first ball of first over rather of his second spell. It does look. He did get the Surrey opener, but it does look like hard work for Big Boyd. He's up to the crease now and bowls. This is too straight, and Root can just nudge this off the knee roll, and it's a good sliding stop for the man at mid wicket, who nearly takes out the man coming in from deep square leg. That's definitely a yellow card at least, and a single for Joe Root. Possibly even a red. Studs up.
Well, indeed.
Sharp thinking, had to be.
Should have been watching where he was going, eh?
I would have played him past the helmets again.
Yep, Gary Wilson just tossed the helmet to James McCollum, who's going in under the lid at short leg for Moeen Ali. Has done. They've had the short leg in throughout, so the plan of bowling short to Moeen Ali is one that most Test teams use these days. It's become a thing. As Rankin's in, penultimate ball to the over from round the wicket to Moeen. That's a short ball. Moeen will take on the pull shot and didn't play it particularly well. In truth, just
I don't think that was full-blooded. I think he meant to just paddle that.
Yeah,
down.
he did. That sometimes can be more dangerous than if he actually tries to go for it. But he placed it well enough and well short of Kevin O'Brien, who was hovering about 5-7 yards in off the deep square leg boundary.
Yeah, I never get this. I don't think Moeen's scared of the
No, he just
short
doesn't.
ball. He just doesn't play it particularly
He
well.
plays the hook really badly.
He does.
And he plays it too often. I said before tee, he's fine when he's defending. It's when he tries to hook that the issue comes. As Rankin is in, fullish down the leg side, and this is whipped by Joe Root to long leg. They will come through for the single, and a fairly unthreatening over from Boyd Rankin, his first of the evening session. England 217 for 5, lead by 95.
Tweet.
Yes, indeed. Well, lots of people listening in from Ireland. Thank you for listening in. And it's also very warm out there. Diana Patterson giving us an update there. In Dublin, it's only 22 degrees in Dublin, but believe it or not, humidity is 80%.
Oh, shit.
Can you imagine that?
That sounds
I
nasty.
can't believe it. Sounds like Amazonian is perhaps the word for it. But, and then Lee has given us an answer to his Morgan statement. He says that Morgan's been the most vocal, active player, questioning the existing domestic structure, advocating for the RLODC to be scrapped in favour of, inverted commas, the bollocks. These statements haven't been received that well by fans, to say the least.
It's true. Morgan's been an advocate of the 100. He was a big advocate of T10 actually when that was first mooted. I think Owen Morgan has a slightly revolutionary streak. 2 slips on the short extra cover and 3 men up on the offside for Murder as he comes in. Gets this one to swing in late to Joe Root down the hill, but Root plays this comfortably enough into the offside and there is no run.
74 miles an hour. I'd like to see Moen get a score here, going into the Ashes.
Yeah, it's always nice to see Moen scoring runs. I'm very well disposed towards Moen Ali.
Yeah, I think most people are. He's just not had a particularly good run recently.
He does seem to get criticised more than most when he... yes, exactly. Strokes beard.
Yes.
As Tim Murtaugh's in up to the crease and bowls back of a length. Root plays this from the crease and just whips this off his off the knee roll really down to long leg. The throw comes flying in from, I think that's Kevin O'Brien down there at long leg, way over the head of Gary Wilson, but is backed up by McCollum. I think that is in the covers, so there's no thoughts of overthrows. Single taken Root to 18. Moen back on strike.
Although, for once, I thought that Mo was the most complicit of the players in England's defeat against Sri Lanka in that ODI.
Trying to hit a 6 immediately after just having hit a 6.
I remember at the time just cutting.
Is that where because apparently his best score is like 155?
That was a few years ago.
Do you guys know when that was?
This is outside off stump, and Moen is half forward and defends this into the leg side. There is no run. It's only in the last year. Well, I say that only. It's in the last year or so that Moen Ali's had a really bad time with the bat.
Well, they moved really down the order as well.
Yeah, but even when that's been happening for his entire career, and he was still finding a way to score runs wherever he ended up. But he will always say that that's not affected him. He's just happy to play, but he can't help.
Can't think he can. But he is quite a fluent player as well, isn't he? I mean, even he must start to get worried when...
Yeah, he's a pretty calm man, but even so, this is outside, well, pitches outside leg stump and angling into the pads of Moen Ali, and who blocks this for the full face of the bat back to Tim Murtaugh. There is no run.
I feel like I'm about to melt.
Will be commentated to by Puddles before too long.
Guerrilla cricket versions of The Wizard of Oz.
Or indeed, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Christopher Lloyd's character melting into a puddle of toon. As penultimate ball of the over is defended by Moen. This one slightly stopped in the pitch and ended up hitting the bat higher than Moen would have liked, and it's blocked into the offside. There is no run.
Interested in the reply to your comments about Moen getting a score here, so they said would 20 do?
No, I'd like to get a 50, and ideally somewhere between 70 and 100.
Moen's highest test score was against Sri Lanka at Chester the Street in May 2016, 155 not out. He has 5 test match hundreds.
He got a very big ton last year in ODI, no Dorset time.
This is a full delivery from Tim Murtaugh, angling across Moen, who plays this with an open face into the offside. Kevin O'Brien picks up a backward point. There is no run. England stretch the lead a little bit to 96 there, 218 for 5.
Nearly 100 lead.
Confidence. Sorry. No,
so we're confident. Yeah, I think if England get a lead of 200 here,
I think they get a lead of 200. They're favourite.
I think so. Well, they're still favourites. They're about 16 to bloody 1.
Yeah, I know, but the bookies have been, we love our booking partners at our betting partners at betway.com/GC Radio, but home bookies do tend to slightly favour the home side more than they might.
But the shortest I've seen England was 4-1 on.
As Rankin is in, continuing from the nursery end. This one keeps a little bit low from Boyd Rankin. Root, as ever, is not that far forward and just blocks this into the offside. There is no run. Moen's last one-day international 100 was in 2017 Bristol. 102 or 57 deliveries.
Yeah, I remember that.
An amazing innings, but was overshadowed by events in a nightclub later.
Oh yes. There's that game.
Rankin is up to the crease and bowls, angling this one a little bit down the slope with, up the slope indeed, as it comes into the right-handed Joe Root, who blocks this into the offside. There is no run. Tim Murtagh visibly reddening as the St John's Wood sun beats down upon him.
Yeah, it must be quite tiring being out there all day in this heat. I mean, I guess you play it in subcontinental conditions, but you don't just expect it, man.
As Rankin is in, right arm over the wickets, back of a length, and Root plays it quite nicely, just going deep in his crease and working it into the leg side. Semi-misfielded by the man chasing that back from mid-wicket, but deep square leg was in, and they come through for a single. James McCullum seems fairly happy with life, and why not? Playing just his second test match, batted quite solidly in Ireland's first innings.
He did indeed.
Without getting a sizable score. Son of Ross McCullum, the chairman of Cricket Ireland, James McCullum.
Did we speak to Ross? He came in box, didn't
we? I think we spoke to James and Ross last year in Malahide when we covered Ireland's first ever men's test match against Pakistan. That glorious week in May in Malahide. Rankin bowling to Moeen means that the short leg has gone in. We've also got a leg gully in place, the long leg, and the deep square leg, this time in front of square, so no danger of Rankin being pinged for a no ball for too many fielders behind square on the leg side. Also got a mid-on, mid-off point gully and a slip. This has taken the edge of Moeen Ali. Boyd Rankin going back of a length. Moeen in no position to play that, just prodded at it hopefully. A thin edge through to Gary Wilson, who takes in front of his face. Boyd Rankin strikes. He has his second. Moeen gone for 9, and England 219 for 6. Short ball, an instinctive fend from Moeen Ali, and just gloved through, I think, in the end to Gary Wilson. But Moeen's batting looks shot, I'm afraid to say. I really hate to say it because he's, I think, my favourite England cricketer ever. But it's not been a happy time for him with the bat recently. And
there has to be questions asked whether, is it time for Mo to take a little break?
Again.
Yeah, I know. I hate to say that myself as a firm favourite. He doesn't seem to be in form at all. He's had bad form throughout the World Cup. He wasn't in particularly good nick before that. Didn't have a good series in the West Indies. As much as we love him, how much for...
Well, I mean, unless he plays down the order as a bowler.
Well, that's kind of how they're going to play him in the Ashes. You'd have thought he's going to be back down
which
7.
brings him into competition with Leap for that sole spinner spot.
Yep.
Troubling times for one of Guerrilla Cricket's favourite cricketers.
An England side without Mo. Don't see that very
Sad
often.
times.
Sad times indeed.
Speaking of sad times, some unhappy words here on Twitter from Kunal Talani. I got up for a couple of hours and the top order collapses and Leach. I think I should go out again.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Well, depending on what side.
I wonder what odds you'd have got on him as the top scorer.
In the match, yes.
Yeah.
Someone who certainly can bat, didn't get very many runs in the first innings at all. He might be another one who's on pair, I
believe he is.
The Birmingham boy.
It's this man.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan. On the Ashes tour, not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do.
Moeen fending at that, it just sort of rolled along the face of the bat through to Gary Wilson.
Did seem to take
a nothing shot.
Yeah, it did seem to go off the pitch a bit though, didn't it?
Yeah, it maybe stuck in the pitch a little bit, and a little bit of tennis ball bounce from Boyd Rankin. But Moeen just, as I say, fended at it just with his hands and was not really in any sort of position to play any sort of shot to it. Chris Wokes did get a second ball to LBW to Tim Murtagh. So he is on a pair, third of England's batsmen to face off in the second innings on a pair. John Bairstow did not escape. Moeen did, but only just. Well, I say only just. He made 9, but not a particularly useful score. 2 slips of gully and a short leg as Rankin comes in to Chris Wokes, and this is back of a length and short ball, which Wokes leaves and allows to pass down the arse, taken by Gary Wilson down the leg side. There is no run.
Well, if England end up with a lead of 150, this game is about evens, I reckon.
It's a really interesting game.
It is a really interesting game. It's definitely due to end on day 3, though. Whatever you say about that.
Yeah, I was amazed earlier when I was looking at 4T that the draw was shorter odds than Ireland winning, which just seems remarkable, really. Rankin in back of a length, last ball of the over, is solidly defended by Wokes up to mid on. There is no run. The one run of the wicket off that over. England after 61 overs of this second innings, 219 for 6, lead by 97, just 4 wickets remaining. Warren?
Yes, absolutely. Just having a look through some of the comments, do keep sending those in. Just having a scroll down through. Question from Elixir of Azazel. Should Marine fail here, do you see Leach taking a spot in the long run, capable with the bat and also arguably a better spinner?
I think it's a really tight call between those two bowlers. I think you can argue that one either way.
I think. No, here's a thought
But
on that.
Moen's done well against Australia in the past at home.
And England don't generally do that well against left-handers, but Moen's pretty successful against the lefties, whereas Leach won't have that option. And England feel confident about getting the right-handers out with the likes of Broad and Anderson on the side.
Murtagh is in, that's edge, and I think that might have, I'm not sure if that carried to Paul Stirling or not, but it squirmed through somehow, and Root escapes with that edge and moves in very fortuitous fashion to 23. It was played with soft hands by Joe Root, and again we see one dipping on the first slip. It just bounced short of Paul Stirling. A really would have been a very good catch low to the ground, but he didn't get anything behind it, and it squirts away to the third man boundary for 4. I don't really think Stirling can stand any closer, really.
I don't think so. Well, it's about 4 or 5
what
times
is
they've been
Murtagh
caught
down
out.
to? He's down about 70 now, isn't he? I mean, this is...
Well, he's putting it on the spot and just letting the movement do the work.
Yeah.
We've got those 2 slips. We've got a short extra cover, back point, regular cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket. Imagine man back at long leg as well, and this is turned through the vacant square leg by Joe Root, and they'll come through for 2. The man from mid wicket has to run around to field, and they are thus able to come through for 2. It was played with very soft hands by Joe Root, and yes, it just bounced short of Paul Stirling.
I'd like to see that from the side.
Yeah, it was close. It was close, but there wasn't the massive oohs and ahs that you get with a dropped catch.
No.
Very.
It was always going down.
Yeah,
Wasn't it? When you actually look at it from the side, he's still a fair way back, isn't he? You know.
Murtagh in 2 straight, and this is whipped off the pads by Root. He does like it in that region. Boyd Rankin comes in off the long leg boundary to field, and they come through for a single, bringing Wokes onto strike to face Murtagh for the first time today.
Nestle, can you bring me another one of those fine hairy dog brewery beers, please?
I wouldn't mind one. I wouldn't mind one either. Actually, I think I've got to that stage. I've been trying to drink water throughout today, just so I don't dehydrate completely, and
We need a few more gallons, I think.
turn into a pile of dust on the way home.
So what are we looking at here? Delivery points.
Yeah, I was seeing Murtagh using the crease to good effect. You see, Ollie Stone was also going quite wide on the
Yeah,
crease.
he was going very wide on the crease. He shoved it down the leg side a few times. But,
Yeah, he's got quite a chest-on action, Ollie Stone.
he's a strong lad. As I said to you in the green room, it's almost the first time I'd ever seen him yesterday, really. I was quite
Murtagh in 4th ball of the over. This is a full delivery and nicely played by Wokes. Just a textbook forward defensive back to the bowler. There is no run. Yeah, he is a strongly built lad. He's had his injury problems. Got himself injured celebrating a wicket with his last injury thing. And literally just jumping up in the air to celebrate a wicket, landed and did his cruciate.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a harsh way to do your
It's just
cruciate.
very unfortunate, yeah.
Nestle, beer, please. Nestle, Earth and Nestle. Facilities manager,
Beer,
please.
please. Some liquid refreshment for your soon-to-be liquid commentators. As Murtagh is in penultimate ball of the over outside off stump. A little bit of nibble in to Chris Wokes, who just plays this solidly up to mid-off. There is no run. He does have a lovely technique, Chris Wokes. He's the coaching manual personified.
Yeah, he's got a very straight bat. We got his first ton last summer, didn't he?
Again, at Lords against India.
Indeed.
You can imagine there'll be a few more in his career if he has a lengthy one.
Indeed. He is a very straight bat. Opened the course against the West Indies when Roy was injured
He did?
in the World Cup.
No, he batted at 3, Root opened.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, looked very comfortable, admittedly, in a completely no-stakes chase.
Yeah.
This is on-off stump, keeps a tad low, and Wokes has to jab this into the leg side, but does so well enough. England lead by 104, but in a perilous position still, with just 4 second innings wickets remaining.
Do with a stand of 100 between these two.
There's still the Sam Curran factor, the Sam
of course.
Curran Joker to play.
Absolutely, we've still got Sam Curran to come. I mean, this side does bat so low.
Yeah, and artificially even lower with Leach coming up as a night watchman.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, just having a look at some of the tweets you've been sending in. There again, it's all happening at Lords. Asking perhaps another pair, seeing Chris Wokes come out perhaps at some point. John Perry, love mowing perhaps nearly as much as you guys, but my word, I feel far more confident with Chris Wokes coming in. And Pirate Badger, I'm feeling optimistic. Somebody pull me back to pessimism before it's too late.
Embrace the joy, embrace the hope. As Rankin is in full delivery outside off stump, Root pushes up to mid off, and there is no run. There's some tension around Lords. The Irish fans can sense that there's something special perhaps on the horizon.
Quite literally on the edge of their sticks.
Yes, indeed. The England fans pretending they're there just for the fun.
That little voice in the back of your head.
As Rankin is in outside off stump and left well alone by Root. He can be susceptible to those to chasing those deliveries early in his innings, but he's faced 50 balls now and is quite content to leave that alone through to the keeper. There is no run.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said it earlier, his composure, his patience as well, making sure he picks up the right ball. He knows in these conditions, anything can really happen, to be honest. So keeping it.
The conditions are not that easy to bat, but it's not one that it's not a pitch where there's one with your name on it any minute. So you can trust yourself, I think, and play your game without having to chase things. This is back of a length from Rankin and hits the splice of the bat, and as Root turns it into the leg side down to the long leg for a single. I think what you said earlier with Bear is actually right. It takes a lot of confidence to just be patient.
Yeah, it does. People want to play shots, want to get runs. It's the modern vogue, There aren't that many people with the patience these days that's required.
But it shows that you've got confidence in yourself, and it says to the bowler, it says to the bowler that I can keep out your best ball.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got? Can you keep bowling your best ball? Can you get past me? I don't think you can.
No.
What do you got?
And then you hit the bad ball.
As Rankin is in outside off stump, but short and wide outside off stump, and Root is, for a tall man, very, very good off the back foot through the offside. That's a lovely back foot punch. Sorry, this is Wokes, also very good in that region. A back foot punch between cover and point for 4.
2 + 2 is on man.
Lovely stuff from Wokes.
Very nice shot. Just on the back toes, pushed straight back through the offside, nicely timed. And there ain't no sweeper out there. Not in this game.
As Rankin turns at the top of his run, coming in from the nursery end, who slips in a short leg and a gully, but no one at third man, and this is back of a length, and Wokes just meets it at the top of its bounce and runs it down through the vacant gully, or sort of fourth slip region, down to third man, back to back fourths, Chris Wokes. With those two fours, Chris Wokes has avoided the pair.
Yeah, which you'll be happy about.
Nicely played by Wokes again, just waited for it. Perhaps judging by his facial expression, that was meant to go more through point than through fourth slip, but safe enough.
It was certainly more edgy than it was face.
No change to the field, still Sterling at first slip, Balburney at second, McCollum under the lid at short leg as Rankin is in. Back of a length and straighter, and Wokes can just block this up to mid on. There is no run, end of the over, and England still building that lead. They lead by 113, 235 for 6.
Yeah, I mean, what you were saying, I caught the end of it. The pitch is a pretty decent pitch, isn't it? It's got a little bit of it for the bowlers, but
the odd one stopping in the pitch. We saw McBrien get a little bit of turn, but it was slow turn.
It's a second day pitch, but it's still pretty flat, and the bounce is pretty even. And the odd one's kept a little low, or it's been intimated to be so by the batsman. But it's a pretty decent pitch. Not the quickest.
No, and I think that's caused a few problems.
Well, and I think that's also to do with the pace of the bowling, though, isn't it? As much as anything else. I think when England were bowling, it would certainly come off the pitch a bit quicker.
Murtagh is in full delivery, tempting Root to play the big booming drive, but he just blocks this up to Kevin O'Brien at mid-on. There is no run. We haven't seen Kevin O'Brien bowl yet in this test match, and maybe he might get something out of this pitch with his accurate dob.
I'd say Murtagh is king of dob.
Well, he's he's more skillful than Dobb, but
Well,
yeah, he's a
For me, Dobb always implies the pace, really, and
he's a very canny, very experienced bowler. We've seen that Gary Wilson standing up has forced Root back into his crease a little bit, as you would expect, but he plays this one nicely enough with the full face of the bat to short extra cover. There is no run.
well, I think they could bat most part tomorrow. Still have plenty of time to win the game, couldn't they? They've got to.
Yeah,
they've got to
theoretically
think about
bat through till tea tomorrow.
Yeah,
Indeed.
precisely. And they still have 4 sessions to go to win the game.
I imagine the pitch would start to take a bit more turn by that point, and Leach and Moen would come into the game. So you've got that option as well as all the other options. As Mercer is in back of a length route onto the back foot and works through the vacant square leg region. They'll want to. They will get to, despite a very quick bit of work from Boyd Rankin at long leg. A bit of a hesitation from Wokes and from Root, but they come through for 2 comfortably enough. Root moves to 29.
And the lead on to 115.
Yeah, it's getting into interesting territory. Another 70-odd runs, and you start to make England. You start to think England are in the driving seat. Certainly anything above 180, I think, probably has England favourites. Certainly 200. As Mercer's in outside off stump and Root on the back foot pushes up to mid-on. Kevin O'Brien fields. There is no run. I think maybe not 180, but certainly 200. I think the pitch is friendly enough that 180 should be chaseable, but weird things happen to teams with the psychology of a 4th innings chase.
Well, I suppose we've got 34 overs left after this. I don't think we'll get them in, will we?
In, what, an hour and a half?
Well, even that's down to 7 o'clock.
Oh, sorry, it's an hour. So it's
Yeah.
only an hour. So, yes, no, we won't get all those overs in.
2 hours. It's only 5 o'clock.
Sorry, 2 hours, Jesus. This is outside off stump, and this is left alone by Root, left taken by Mercer at knee height. Wilson at knee height. There is no run. Yeah, we should have a change at the end of this over. I can't remember exactly who I said was going to happen. We're back to half-hour switches for this 2 hour, possibly 2.5 hour session.
I'm moving into your chair, I believe, and those 2 are coming in.
Alrighty, so Warren and I will
We shall depart.
go into the slightly cooler green room.
It's got a fan in there at least.
Back a length and straight from Mercer, and Root again happy to whip off the hips, and Rankin comes around from long leg. Field Root moves to 30. He'll keep the strike. Wokes on 8 off as many deliveries. England 238 for 6, lead by 116. And while we have a shift around, we'll have a little bit of a word about how you can support the show.
We need your alternative cricket commentary, bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are gorillas. We need your patreon.com/gorilla cricket.
Yeah, we can do your money. Give us some money. Give us some cash. Come on. Now. Patreon.com/gorilla cricket. And you can do what you like there. There's lots of things to do. You get early access to the podcast, of which we'll be doing an episode tonight. $2 a month gets undying gratitude. And $10 a month gets you on the strip of glory that goes along our Facebook and YouTube feeds.
You bowler.
Indeed.
The glory strip.
The glory strip.
That sounds dodgy.
Sandy McBride. Some say he's a genius.
Some may say he's a genius. I don't think so. First ball is floated up and it's played back to him. There's no run.
He's Andy McBride, Bride.
Next ball's tossed up and Root just plays it up to mid on. There's no run.
So, Bear, while Nestle Boy and I were having a conversation in the green room, Moeen, talk to me.
Yeah, it's getting a bit depressing with Moeen. I love him dearly, but he's come down the track. Root tries to whip that into the leg side, hit it on the full, skewed it back to the bowler, and then thrown it at the stumps. And Root was a bit late in realising that he had to get back, but he did get back safely.
I think you said Nestlers that questions are going to start to be asked now about his position.
Well, they are. Yeah. You know, And it's true to say that he hasn't scored a lot of runs. Root needs to sell someone else down the river, having done that to Denley earlier, and I think he's realised that. And smiled. He clipped down to the leg side, took a couple of steps down, and sent Wokes back, who kind of set off in full pursuit of a single.
Well, in support of my fatherland, I'll break off.
Andy McBrien tosses that as a full toss. Can't quite miss the man at mid-wicket, but I'll get themselves a single.
And in support of my bet, I wasn't bothered about Moeen being in to bat. I thought he was going to go, so, and he did.
Yeah, he's not had a good run of it, and he is a good bat. He's so nice to see when he's fluid. But he does play quite loosely. Today he didn't play particularly loosely, actually. I thought the ball went a little bit off the pitch. It was a good ball. It was high around his chest. That kept it a bit low, McBrien, but it's defended by Root back to him, and there's no run.
I'm not convinced he had to play it, though. Or do you reckon
maybe
he
didn't
got forced into playing it?
No, but I think he was playing at it. It was coming into his chest, and I think it just straightened a little. And because he was playing up near his chest and he expected to come in, he just moved his hands a bit towards it and just guided it straight to the keeper, really. That happens when you see the ball move. Your instinct is to follow it a little bit, and only has to move a little bit. And it was angled in at his chest. I mean, it was a pretty decent ball. It wasn't the worst. But then other times, you've seen him flapping around outside off stump when he hasn't had to play a shot, and he nicks off, which any batsman can do when they're new to the crease. But he sometimes does when he's not so new to the crease, and also he doesn't wind his head in sometimes when the situation demands that he does.
Maybe they should put him at 3.
Well, they tried.
I know they've tried it before, but if we're going to say that the 3 position in England's lineup is basically a walk-in wicket anyway,
well,
that's a way to keep him in the team.
I think that's why they tried that last summer, and it didn't do him any favours then either.
Roger Pineapple's made an effort there, isn't he? Declan Mason says, loving the commentary as much as watching England struggle. Can't wait for the Ashes. Come on, Aussie, says Declan.
Oh, dear.
It started. Messages says, so even gorillas are reduced to shortened spells by the weather. Is the glory strip going to be on YouTube? That'll get us taken down at once.
And the glory strip it's already on YouTube.
Yeah, you missed it. When YouTube went down, you missed us all in our pants. Sorry.
Adair is going to come into bowl. He looks hot and bothered. Sun cream's all smeared, probably over the ball. In he comes, bowls, and Root defends out to cover, no run. Root's on 31, Wokes is on 8. The lead is 117. England 239 for 6.
It must be these lights, but it is noticeably hotter in here, isn't it?
Yeah,
we could have done with some sunscreen today. I've put in
these lights aren't particularly hot. They're LED, so they don't really create heat that much.
It just feels
like it. There's only one window, and it's airless room.
I mean,
there's a lot of electricals in here as well, which add to the heat.
Dripping here.
I know, I'm dripping too. I'm melting.
We're dripping.
Down the track. Hey, Rooty's gone. And he wound his head in too long, took the chance, went down the track to Adair, pushed at it, was nowhere near it really. It's a poor shot by Root. Snicked off, good catch by Wilson, going across nearly to first slip. Indeed. He was drawn into it. I was trying to look at ways to score runs. I mean, he had been scoring quite freely. I don't know why he felt the need to do that, to be honest. England need a partnership here, not to lose their skipper for 31.
Do you know what, though? I reckon England might already have enough to win this.
They might do, but I would be pretty confident as an Irishman.
Oh no,
team,
Ireland should count themselves as favourites, but
I know what you mean, though.
I'd put it this way, Nestlers, you should cash out. Whatever your bet is, I'd cash out.
They won't let me at the moment.
Oh,
really?
No. But whenever I bet on anything and I've got like a nice little sort of amount to come in, it always goes wrong. That horse race a couple of months ago. But whenever I sort of stand to win about £3.24, it wins.
Comes in, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny enough. That's a short odds, much more favourable position to be in.
Yeah, it's me being chicken and putting £1.
Although I did win when Liverpool beat Barcelona in that semi-final.
How much did you put on that?
I just put a couple of quid, but it was 18. I put the bet on for Liverpool to qualify because I didn't think we'd do it. I thought it would go to extra time and stuff. 18-1.
Excellent.
It's fucking genius. Yeah, that was always good. I've had a couple of courses come in at 30s every once in a while, but I never bet much on the horses. They're really, you know.
No, the last one I had was a tip from Grubby and it won.
So I've been, sorry, we've got a new batsman, sorry, before I even say this.
Indeed.
So the new batsman for England is...
Is he a batter or bowler? Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. He's not from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
You beauty, I think he shouted there, didn't he?
So I tweeted about this, and I was going to save it for the podcast, and I will bring it up in the podcast as well. But after this test series, one test match series, Ireland play only 6 more test matches in the next 2 years.
I know.
And I just don't understand how that's supposed to help the Irish game. Four of them are against either Afghanistan or a now suspended Zimbabwe. So what? I don't get it. I don't understand what the ICC is playing at.
No, I don't either. Sam Curran gets his first ball on a length outside our stump, doesn't bother him, smashes it out towards the ex-cover boundary. It's getting there, it's got there. Someone couldn't drag Stuart Thompson couldn't drag it back in. 4. No, that's not Stuart Thompson, that's Simi Singh.
Yeah.
That's Simi Singh. He's on, there must be a substitute, he's on. Thought they'd give him a little run out, our Lords.
But I mean, you know, whatever the result of this is, Ireland have proved themselves here to be a worthy,
absolutely.
You know.
They're not a bad side. Any side that comes in and gets test status isn't a bad side. What you find with a lot of sides when they're trying to come in, and bad test sides when they're not winning, is that they're inconsistent. You know, over 2 innings, over maybe a 4 test match series or 3 test match series, the better side generally wins. That's why it's called a test, I think. Left alone outside Sammy Curran's off stump, and there's no run. And England, to be fair, played fucking poor in this test match. I mean, they were in a position that when Leach got out to really put some runs on the board. Silly run out of Denley. Once again, Bairstow reviewing what dead plum down around his front fucking bat. Moeen Ali hanging his bat out. You know, England aren't in a great position, but they got enough experience and enough classy players, and a few that aren't playing. I think they'll get good at some point. Left alone outside the off stump, Sam Curran, and then run.
I mean, are we...
But coming back to your point, I think India and the likes of the West Indies and India, Pakistan should be forced to play them, even if it's only 1 or 2 test series. They should be. Absolutely,
more my
they
point.
should be. They should be forced to make. You know, even if it's a 2 test series.
Yeah.
You know. Or maybe the odd test here and there, as long as they're playing 6 or 7 tests a year.
I tell you what,
they should be playing.
If India went to Dublin and played Ireland in 2 tests, man, it'd be massive.
Wouldn't it just? Soft hands, Curran, but gets the outside edge of the bat. Adair's got his tail up, 82 miles an hour. It's pretty quick for him.
That would be massive.
Jot's just short that slips and there's no run. Oh, exactly. Well, they did go out there and play some, was it T20s last summer?
I can't remember if they did.
I think it was. I think it was they had a couple of T20s out there as a warm-up after we'd done the Pakistan test. And before India came to England, India went out there and played, I think it was only T20s, and there was 3 of them. Because we talked about going out and doing them. And Cricket Ireland gave them to fucking Belfast BBC Radio.
I mean, dependent on the result here, this could take Shane Lowry off the sports pages.
Well, yeah. Can you imagine?
You know,
the Irish beat the English in a test match at Lord's. Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ.
The humiliation as an Englishman. Jesus.
1916.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to laugh, though. And it, you know, it'd serve English hubris right.
800 years of oppression.
You know, and put out the strongest team. Top 3, as we've said, all test. I mean, well, for the last couple of years, has looked shaky at best. Root's not in the best of form. It's looked tired. Some of these players don't look like they really want to be here.
I'm not convinced by the body language at all. Like I think the body.
People thought it'd be a bit of a stroll in the park.
It seems like I'm just saying it, but the body language. Oh, come on, I'm back after this.
McBrien throws it up. So defended the leg side by Wokes. Clicks it out to mid wicket. No run.
The body language to me is as if this is one of those kind of you're on tour. You know those warm-up games.
Yeah.
When you're on tour, it smacks of that.
Well, they've got the Ashes around the corner, haven't they?
Nice drive straight back down the track by Wokes, but got his hands on it, Devon Ryan, and there's no runs. It just gets to mid-on.
This might be a bit out there, but next time you look at McBride, do you think his face is on the wrong body?
Mr. Potato Head.
It's just got this weird, large face.
Yeah, big head on a small body. Played off the back foot by Wokes out to the offside, and there's no run.
I'll have to look. You'll have to zoom in on his face again.
Yeah, well, you wait. You'll see what I mean.
Wokes faces up, but Brian comes in on the back foot, cuts nicely. There won't be a sweeper out there. It's a test match, thank God. So it should be 4 runs.
And there is.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mash. I'm sure we're going to talk about all this stuff later.
Save it for the podcast. Don't use all the pod up.
No, indeed. But if they were, you make them play in the UAE, and they've played out there quite a lot anyway when they were playing Associate Nations cricket. A lot of it goes on out in the UAE. Give them a test against Pakistan, they'd do all right. I mean, they did all right against Pakistan at home, for fuck's sake. It wasn't that, it wasn't that much of a stroll in the park. They did all right against Afghanistan. The thing is, they do have to bring on the next generation. Unfortunately, their golden generation is getting a little bit past it, as that's clipped out square leg side and there's no run in there. And because they're only just breaking through now, I'm not sure what the younger folks are like. Well, I'm sure they can do the same as England. Find some cold-packed players of some description or another who've got Irish grandparents from fucking Australia or something if they need to. I mean, they certainly used to do that. What was it? Trent
Johnston, was it?
Trent Johnston. I mean, he was bloody
Australian.
He's
got a huge face.
He has got a huge face. It's very long.
like a Desperate Dan type.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
There is a South African or two in this side, I believe.
But certainly, unfortunately, America's no good at cricket, but otherwise you could probably draw a few.
Yeah.
If they had a baseball team, they'd be all right. Sam Curran is facing up. Brian is going around the wicket to him. It doesn't really straighten. It's onto his pad. He just clipped it out of the wicket, and there ain't no run.
But the only way you get the kids, a victory like this and playing, then it generates interest.
Exactly. It does.
In Ireland, you're fighting hurling, you're fighting Gaelic football, and you're fighting the Premier League
and the rugby.
And the rugby. Yeah. You're fighting for massive sports. You get 80,000 sellout at the All Ireland final for hurling and Gaelic football at Croke Park.
Yeah.
We're up against it.
Absolutely.
The Premier League is massive over there. They all want to be Man United or Liverpool players.
But the thing is, I'm just trying to think, is there any other sport in the world which would have a fixture schedule like the Future Tours programme, which essentially excommunicates certain teams from certain matches? Even with the introduction of the Test Championship, how do you have a Test Championship for 8 teams and there's 2 other full members who aren't part of it? Yes, I know they decided it before Ireland and Afghanistan became members.
That's defended back down the track and there's no run. I agree with you entirely. Well, the ICC is a bit of an odd organisation.
Really?
Funny that.
How do you know about that?
I just worked for them.
But this is why I have always, and will never stop saying it, cricket needs promotion and relegation. It doesn't make sense otherwise. Because how do you become more competitive and give teams games unless you can promote and relegate them?
Oh, well, I agree with you. I think there should be many divisions. That's played up to mid-off and there's no run, but that's a governing body's role, isn't it, really, to promote this kind of shit? But the ICC doesn't see its role necessarily as that's a private company. It sees itself as governing in the interests of its current members, which and its richest members are Australia, India and England, so it governs in their favour, not entirely but pretty much. The payment system is a bit shonky. That one's come in from Adair into Wokes, who defends it back down the track and it's not run. I mean, as Clive Lloyd was saying, he was basically saying that England he was kind of actually mooting what you're saying. He was saying kind of should be like the Premier League, so you get paid per performance. So if you're top of the Test ranking, especially now this is coming in, then you get the biggest fee, and so on and so forth down the rankings. But he was saying that the West Indies basically, that's left alone outside the off stump by Wokes, no run. India, England and Ireland, India, England and Australia are given something like 120 million over a 2 or 3 year cycle, and all the other nations are given 80 million. So you've got 40 million disparity there and then. And he was saying the problem with the West Indies is obviously it's a group of islands, so actually it costs a lot more to run West Indies cricket with a smaller population because there's travel and everything. And it has to be factored in, isn't it? And he's gone! Oh dear! Wokes has driven at a ball outside his off stump. The wheels are coming off. England are 248 for 8. This is going to be an interesting last innings. Collingwood's got his finger in his mouth. Dear, oh dear,
I better get into some tweets. Well, actually, Leah's tweets are all kind of irrelevant now because it says, now the English knock off Ellen can't run out the Hinterjunga. England are doomed, says Swing It Both Ways. You played the Stop Being Shit jingle. And Leah comes back. Pearstow is doing his best to dethrone Twatto as the king of stupid reviews.
Yeah.
And the Americans are shit at baseball nowadays, but a Caribbean or Middle American team would be terror. The Americans are shit at baseball, aren't they? Dave Wood says, Jesus, Bear, I haven't heard this much name dropping since the days of Katie.
Well, you know.
You haven't said anything about the legends of cricket that you are friends with now.
No.
I mean, in your phone, you've got Tendulkar, you've got Clive Lloyd, you've got Kapil Dev, you've got... Who am I missing
Sachin.
I said Sachin.
Sonny Gavaskar.
I mean, the Colin Croft, the Bear.
Jimmy Anderson.
Didn't you go for dinner around Clive Lloyd's house?
Yeah, I did. I went to Clive Lloyd's ex-wife's house for dinner.
I mean, he's round there shagging Clive Lloyd's.
Excuse me, don't say that.
He's the Bear is now international.
If only. I'll be forgotten as quick as I was in there. But it's a nice story to have, and it was certainly a surreal experience.
You've got loads of great pictures. Yeah. Loads of great pictures. And I did see you live on TV leaning over Kapil Dev.
There you go.
No, fantastic.
Turning up a pot.
You were what?
Turning up a volume.
Oh, right. How did the vaping go, though? You had some problems.
I didn't at all. That was actually quite a hilarious thing about it. I just vape wherever I wanted to vape. I don't take.
Did you vape indoors?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good man.
I was vaping in a commentary box. No one said anything to me. It's so fucking funny. If anyone's offended, they never say anything. It's hilarious. And because it's not smoking, no one knows quite what to do.
Yeah.
And because I just get on with it because that's what I do.
Then they probably thought, they've said he's allowed to. That's what it probably was.
I don't think anyone knew. Occasionally, someone would say something. In fact, more like the ground staff used to say stuff from people in the box I was with. It's hilarious.
See, he vapes where he wants.
I do what I like when I want.
Yeah. And there's no more tweets at the moment, I don't think. Oh, hang on. I speak too soon. Pirate Badger says, yes, I'm embracing the optimism. Come on, Ireland. Justin Smythe says, be cool. Everybody, be cool. You be cool.
I may be cool on the inside, but I'm certainly not on the outside, man. I'm fucking sweating like a pig.
Yeah, I mean, I am literally just dripping water here.
I know.
Can you lose weight by just sweating?
That'd be fantastic.
You can do, but it's only water weight. As soon as you drink water, you get it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm doing this all for nothing.
You're doing it for our listeners. It's cloudy outside though.
It's cloudy, it makes it humid.
And I think it's cloudy at Lord's, isn't it?
Yeah. It's high cloud, it's certainly not going to rain. It doesn't look like it's going to piss it down anyway. There it is, on the leg side, it's chipped airily square by Broad. There'll be no run.
I'm surprised Broad's average is still 19. I feel like I haven't seen him score any runs in a long time.
You know what? He still scores. He scored some valuable runs last summer. It takes him an awful long time to get in now, but he's still got a batsman's eye when he's scared of the short ball. I don't think he'd deny that, but if he gets enough short balls and he's still there, he starts taking them on again.
I'm a big
takes about 25 balls to get in.
Fan of the podcast he does with Stephen Fry. I've got a whole different view of Stuart Broad now. I really like him. Not that I didn't like him before, but he's a completely different person to me now.
Well, yeah.
It's a great podcast.
A media-managed professional sportsman is quite dull.
Yeah, and then this podcast is not media managed.
Yes,
it's
well, that's good.
You know, it's really
more of them should do that. That is the problem with the media.
Yeah,
it's so straight-laced. Not us.
Nope.
Speaking of which, can I have another beer, please? Boyd Rankin is going to come back as the attack. That makes sense. Broadie's out there. They want to bang some short stuff in. He's the man to do it. He won't be facing Boyd to start with, though, because Sammy Curran's up that end. And at what point do they start hitting out? They might as well start hitting out now, aren't they? Or they wait till this partnership is over. That's too far down leg side. First ball is a rank by ranking shite ball, and it's been pulled down to a very fine leg boundary.
There's not one board for me. I must have 2 or 3. I need 4.
England need another 50 runs to be favourites for me.
What's the lead at 120?
130. Need another 50. 180, I think they become favourites. 150, it's evens.
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
130, I just have to say Ireland are probably favourites, but I bet they're not in the bookies.
You're making me nervous.
Yeah, sure. Actually, well, let me see what the... we click on to Betway to see what the in-play is.
It's not square on the offside, and there's no run. Currently, Ireland are evens. England are still favourite, 8-11. This is fucking ridiculous.
Those who have been following, remember.
See, now
they got this at 50
you
to
know
1.
what? You should be hedging out. Exactly.
Stop.
If you put fucking 500 quid on at 11-8, you're going to guaranteed about 450 quid. You muppet. Get on.
Wait, who's 11-8?
England are 11-8 at Betway. If he put on 500 quid at that, he virtually get his money. He virtually get 500 quid. That's played into the offside square on the offside, and there's no run. What, 11-8? So every 111 pounds, 110 pounds, you get 80 quid for.
Yeah. Leave me alone. I'm sweating and I'm nervous.
You're a fool.
Are you serious that they're not giving you a cash out?
No, they didn't. There was no cash out.
Nah, that's copy.
Nope.
What did you do through Betway?
I couldn't log onto my Betway account on the train for some reason.
Heaved into and nearly a great catch by that's the skipper or is that McCollum? Pulled by Sammy Curran, pretty flat, and it is the skipper. Stuck Porterfield, stuck upper hand, diving. It was almost like Ben Stokes when he caught that catch on the boundary in the World Cup, kind of diving backwards and sticking his hand up as he was going. And he managed to palm over the bar. He just couldn't quite grip onto it. That would have been a stunning catch if he held it. And in the end, they got back for 2. Technically, I suppose it goes down as a drop, but not really.
Harsh.
Ireland are sensing something great here.
Is that the baggy blue?
The baggy blue.
It's a bit of a baggy blue, isn't it?
It is a bit of a baggy blue. Obviously, it should be a baggy green.
The baggy blue.
Into the ribs of Curran, shortish ball by Boyd Rankin. He defends it easy enough out on side, and there's no run. Beer, please.
Beer, he wants more beer.
That really would have been a stunning catch. It gives him a clap. Collingwood looks nervous in his paint top. Boyd Rankin is now coming in to bowl around the wicket to Curran, who pulls that nicely. Pretty square. There is Sumi Singh, who's on down at fine leg. And that'll be a single, thank you very much.
Knackle's t-shirt matches the beer can.
Yeah. Into that over. 274 for Boyd Rankin. England 256 for 8.
Let's have a look on Twitter. Sure, the Americans are shit at baseball. How American sound names like Carnicon, Batista and Martinez sound to you? Oh, I see. You mean the players.
Oh, you mean the actual Americans?
Yeah.
Americans.
Armchair Cricket Podcast say England would do well to send Brig Collyblock out to bat in place of Ollie Stone. Otto Sayman's with us. Promotion and relegation is the way to go. Painful at first, but better in the long run. It'll put fire in the belly for sure and add extra motivation for the top teams to pick the best side in every contest.
Indeed. And that's played square to point. There's no run. The thing is, you have to just decide what structure you're going to have. Are you going to have eight teams in the top division?
Let me think about that 1 second.
Mark Zip says, does the bear vape in the woods?
Absolutely.
Messi just says, the bear in the wild was a very good experience, especially in terms of yarns to bring back to guerrilla cricket, but it's good to have him back. Nobody else could ever match it, you fucking muppet.
Of course, thank you very much, Messi. That's played square on the offside, out 2 point, no run.
And Leia says, Angus Young of AC/DC used to lose about 4 kilos per gig in perspiration.
Yeah. Then drink it and whiskey after.
But we're not doing Highway to Hell or any of that at the moment. We're just sitting.
I'll give it more thought, but provisionally I'm saying 6 in the top division and then 6 in the second division.
If you do 6-6 like that, that would be fucking interesting.
Because then you'd have to play
You'd
good
have
teams.
to be one of the big boys, and 2 of the big boys would be in the second division.
Yeah.
That was clipped in the leg side and there's no running back. 4.
Chris Drew says, is there an Uptown Boyd ranking jingle? In fact, there is.
There is, of course.
And Leia says, does the YouTube stream work again?
Yeah, it's working. I think our CPU is being overloaded. I think that computer needs to be shut down and restarted, which we'll do at the end of the day. I think, I don't know why, it's blowing a fan and all seems to be going horribly wrong. Driven back down the track, and is no run by Broad. Oh, it's half an hour's length, isn't it? So I must be out now. Okay, at the end of this over in 2 balls, I will be going away. Warren and Knackle will be rejoining you. Warren's going to debut on Bull Bubble.
Ooh.
If you haven't tuned in all day, tune in now.
Absolutely.
No pressure.
Around the wicket. How was that there? And nicely held out by Broad as he clips it out to cover. There's no run. Last ball by me.
So just to clarify, the reason for the 6 in 1 and then 6 in Division 2, it means greater competitiveness in the second division because you have 4 established teams down there, and then 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, 2 up, 2 down. How the thing is, Test cricket's quite a big cycle.
Well, that's the problem.
Around the wicket, over the top goes Sammy Curran. There is no one out in the deep. It wasn't the greatest struck shot, but he knew no one was out there. And it raced away to boundary 4 runs.
2, 3, 4.
Right, we're going to have a switcheroo. You going to play a bit of music for that, or are you just going to yeah?
We'll just have a tiny switcheroo here.
It's been too many overs on a little couch, going just like an old biddy. They need to stretch and slouch. It's been a few overs coming, but to the sofa, change gon' come. Oh yes it is.
With Ireland sensing